So we have a member of the WNBA media who is claiming that Chelsea Gray is the best point guard in the WNBA. But is that based on statistics, or is this a member of the WNBA media standing?
Caitlin Clark's rookie stats: 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, 5.7 rebounds. Yet, Natalie Esquire ignored them while calling Chelsea Gray the best point guard in the WNBA. The numbers don't lie, but some reporters do. The shocking part? Chelsea Gray has never put up these numbers in her entire career. But here we are, watching so-called WNBA reporters push narratives that don't match reality.
Who I'm talking about, it is none other than Natalie Esquire, which might not surprise some of you. It sure as heck does not surprise me. But I gotta say, an unbiased WNBA legacy reporter is not as common as you might think.
Let's expose this media bias with cold, hard facts. Are we really having this debate? Let's break down the numbers and see what Natalie Esquire conveniently ignored when crowning Chelsea Gray. Spoiler: this hot take turns ice cold real fast.
According to this post that she put up on social media, Natalie Esquire says, Chelsea Gray is the best point guard in the WNBA. That hasn't changed because she has a down year returning from injury. The disrespect on her name was ridiculous.
Clark's rookie season numbers: 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, 5.7 rebounds are not just good, they're historic. And when we compare them to Chelsea Gray's entire career, something shocking stands out.
Well, let's get into the stats. First, we'll pull up the best point guard in the WNBA objectively, Caitlin Clark. In her one professional season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark came away with an average of 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds for the season. Now, let's check out Chelsea Gray's stats. And this is when the Las Vegas Aces had won the championship. She did average 15.3 points a game, not bad, right? She averaged 4 rebounds and 7.3 assists.
Gray's best scoring season: 15.3 points per game. Still 4 points lower than Clark's rookie season. What about playmaking? Nope. Gray's best assist season: 7.3 per game. Clark's rookie average: 8.4.
That's good, but it still is not better than Caitlin Clark's averages. Let's just check those out again. 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists. Okay, so how about the year before? Chelsea Gray averaged 13.7 points. She averaged 3.2 rebounds and 6.1 assists. Still does not beat what Caitlin Clark had in either stat.
Rebounding: Gray's career high is 4 per game. Clark is a rookie, 5.7. Gray has never had a season that matches what Clark did in her very first year.
There is not one year where she averaged more points than Caitlin Clark. There is not one year where she averaged more assists than Caitlin Clark. So I don't exactly know where Natalie Esquire's foundation for this post is coming from.
Maybe Gray makes up for it with efficiency or defense. Nice try. The advanced stats tell the same story. Clark's impact is simply greater across the board. The gap isn't just real, it's undeniable.
Chelsea Gray is a hell of a player, a veteran, and deserves to be celebrated. Full stop.
Clark did this while leading a rebuilding Indiana Fever team. Defenses targeted her every game, yet she still delivered. And her impact wasn't just individual. She turned one of the WNBA's worst offenses into its best in just 1 month after the Olympic break.
Comments. The way I feel about it is that she is a member of the WNBA media. If she were a fan, this post would be whatever. But people that are going to the WNBA media should be able to go and get an unbiased, factual, statistically accurate opinion of a matter. And when you pull up receipts, this just isn't.
No one's denying Gray's championship success. But calling her the best point guard while ignoring basic stats? That's just not true. In points, assists, and rebounds, Clark is ahead in every category.
So I am assuming that Natalie Esquire posted this because a lot of people were questioning Chelsea Gray because she was coming back from an injury that made her very slow, and it did hurt her game a lot. But when you post something like this, it makes a lot of people go in and just go into receipts because this is quite a provable untruth.
The stats don't lie, but some reporters do. When journalists ignore clear numbers in favor of personal bias, It hurts the credibility of women's sports coverage, right when the WNBA needs fair and professional reporting the most.
Warranted though, and when a member of the WNBA media starts going in and giving unbiased opinions about certain players in the league, it does feel a little erroneous considering that people go to these members of the WNBA media for unbiased statistical information.
Annie Costable of the Chicago Sun-Times nailed it. There are a lot of fans pretending to be reporters in women's sports. And Natalie Esquire is becoming the face of that problem.
The situation. She posted this tweet in response to somebody talking about reporters being stans in the WNBA space. And it goes, I think it's because there are a lot of stans posing as reporters in the women's sports space. And Natalie Esquire is not new to putting down the efforts of Caitlin Clark and what she has accomplished in the previous season.
This isn't just about one bad take. Esquire also accused Clark of stat padding when she was about to break an assist record, calling it unethical. Imagine criticizing a player for simply playing basketball and chasing greatness. That's not analysis, that's bias.
7 months ago, when the season was in, Natalie Esquire also claimed that Caitlin Clark was stat padding and posted this on her social media account. Are we going to be upset tonight that Caitlin tried to chase the franchise assist record when the game was already won? I was told that kind of behavior is unethical. I have no issue with her doing it because that's normal behavior and actually what many competitors do.
It gets worse. When Chelsea Gray returned from injury and the Aces won a single game, Esquire jumped them from number 6 to number 1 in her power rankings. 1 win, 5 spots. That's not journalism. That's fandom with a press pass.
Double stat padding. She's also a big Aces fan. When the Aces were losing and they got Chelsea Gray back and they went on a really hot streak, after 1 game of winning, Natalie Esquire, I believe, put them from like number 6 to number 1 in beating the Liberty, which obviously was not really a good take.
The problem? New WNBA fans can't always tell the difference between real analysis and biased coverage. They expect fair reporting, but instead get narratives that don't reflect reality.
And this is a WNBA reporter, people. This is who people go to for information on what is going on in the world of the WNBA. So it feels a little trumped up to post this to your many followers and have them take this as the reference point for what is actually going on in the WNBA, because not a lot of people go into statistics.
Real journalists like Annie Costable report the truth, even when it's not what fans want to hear. That's the difference between legitimate coverage and biased storytelling.
But it's like you can't say something like this and not get called out, and she is definitely getting called out.
This media bias creates an echo chamber where false narratives get repeated so much that new fans believe them. Meanwhile, the most incredible basketball story is being ignored. How a rookie transformed one of the league's worst teams into an offensive powerhouse.
But again, I cannot stress enough that when you have credentials as somebody who is looked at for information from a large majority and large group of people, there should be a little bit of relevance to what you're stating.
After the Olympic break, the Fever didn't just improve, they completely changed. In 1 month, they went from bottom tier to the league's most dangerous offense. That doesn't happen just because of good stats. It happens when a player transforms a team.
Good pass, making some good passes, finding open players, and hitting some crazy fadeaway shots in unlimited space because they can't throw double teams is not the same as basically turning one of the worst offenses in the WNBA, the Fever pre-Caitlin Clark, into the best offense in the WNBA in 1 season.
Clark didn't just improve her game. She made everyone around her better. Her passing and court vision created opportunities her teammates never had before. The Fever's offense changed because of her.
No, Chelsea Gray is slowing the tempo down, backing down. She's got a whole bunch of space to work with, and she's hitting crazy shots. She's hitting crazy shots. And I gotta give her credit for that. But what? No! The reason why Caitlin Clark is so good is because what it does to the team. The point guard is supposed to be about how the team plays.
Chelsea Gray is a great player, but has she ever single-handedly transformed a team's offense like this? No. She's always played with all-stars and MVPs. fitting into established teams. Clark, meanwhile, had to elevate a struggling franchise.
Clark isn't going to need to create everything herself because she's got other capable people now, which is going to make her life easier. It's going to bring her efficiency up. But she's going to be diming everybody up like it's an all-star game every game.
Clark did all this as a rookie. Most first-year players are just trying to adjust. She walked in and completely changed how the Fever played basketball.
And she can pull from anywhere on the floor. She can get to the hoop herself. It's just a silly, stupid conversation to put anybody else in her class as a point guard. And it also shows, the Fever are going to be frightening and formidable offensively. Perhaps, the most terrifying offense the league has ever seen with the upgrades that they made.
And let's talk about that 3-on-3 tournament Gray starred in. It was the perfect format to highlight her strengths and hide her weaknesses. Meanwhile, Clark has been dominating full-court basketball against real defensive pressure.
But so many of these conversations look so silly when held up to any sort of scrutiny because of her production. Because what anybody with eyes sees.
The difference is clear. Clark didn't step into a system designed for her. She built it. Her skills completely reshaped how the Fever played, making everyone around her better.
And again, I want to reiterate that I do not think Chelsea Gray is a bad player. I think she's a great player. I think she has been in the league for a while. I think that her injury has slowed her down some, but she is a person that you can get the ball to and you can expect to finish in clutch moments, for sure. But is she better than Caitlin Clark? Statistically, nope.
At the end of the day, the numbers speak for themselves. Clark is the best point guard in the WNBA. This is an opinion, it's fact. But her impact goes beyond that. She's changing the entire landscape of women's basketball.
Like, let's say there's, snow outside on the ground. You go and shovel the snow, the grass is under. And the grass is that all of this grew from what Caitlin Clark does on the court and how just transcendent, exemplary a basketball player she is. And it's been a long time since she played basketball, so out of sight, out of mind, I guess you could say.
And it's not just on the court. Clark is driving record-breaking viewership and attendance across the league. Fans are showing up in historic numbers. That's why honest reporting matters. Because the WNBA doesn't need manufactured narratives. The real stories are already incredible.